Education, being a process of teaching and learning, is evaluated through examination at the end of the learning period. Examination not only serves as a feedback for the trainer to ascertain the level of knowledge acquisition, but also serves as a measure of knowledge retention by the trainee. Any misconduct or irregularity distorts this feedback mechanism and causes a false outcome of the learning process. Welcome to episode 2 of the Moorfield Middle and High School Students Educating Students series. Today, we'll be discussing the dangers of examination malpractice on the social, economical, and political well-being of any nation. I am Justin Chukwu Sikambili Benedicta, a student of Moorfield High School, and joining us today are
Jennifer Oji,
Justin Nofe,
Alabia Medesala.
Jennifer, please can you tell us what education entails?
Thank you, Kambili. Education is a necessary process through which young adults are equipped to live productive life through their talents and interests. Through education, learners are not just only taught, trained, and adequately guided, but they're also taught how to adapt to acceptable public lives. Some people pursue education for its own sake, to satisfy innate curiosity out of interest of a specific subject or skill. Education is also seen as a place where children can develop according to their unique needs and potential. The early years of schooling focuses around developing the basic interpersonal literacy skill. Later, education turns towards gaining the knowledge and skills needed to create value and establish a livelihood. Education could be formal or informal. Formal education takes place in a structured environment with classes of multiple students learning from a certified teacher of the subject. While informal education takes place in outside school time like youth program, community centers, and village square, and so on.
Thank you, Jennifer. The Western knowledge acquisition system, or formal education as you called it, is measured on certificates. Yet, certificate is not a full proof of knowledge retention. Before certificate is awarded, the students have to be assessed in the field they have been trained. Making certificate the yardstick to which students' competence and progress is measured and appraised in the education sector. Examination is the most common tool through which the entire system of education revolves. It is an instrument used to decide who is permitted to move to the next academic level. Examination is not only the process of assessing students, but it also motivates them and helps them know their academic strengths and weaknesses, as well as provides teachers with new opportunities to try new methods of teaching. But when examination is not properly conducted, the expected feedback may not result. Hence, the result of such evaluation leads to wrong decisions by the teacher, the learner, the entire system of education, and the society at large. The result of such evaluation is questionable at the end of the learning period. The common belief of certificates being a yardstick through which people's qualification is measured in the educational sector has led many Nigerians into indulging in all forms of examination malpractice, including buying of educational certificates to prove their academic worth. Jesse, please can you throw more light on examination malpractice?
The Examination Malpractice Act of 1999 explains examination malpractice as an act of omission or commission by a person fraudulently secure any unfair advantage for himself or any other person that contravenes the rules and regulations and to the extent of undermining the validity, reliability, authenticity, and to the extent of the integrity of the certificate issued. Again, examination practice is any deliberate wrongdoing contrary to place a candidate at an unfair advantage or disadvantage.
Thank you, Jesse. Desola, what do you have to say about this?
For me, examination malpractice is any dishonest or unauthorized action or deed committed by a student on his own or in collaboration with others, like fellow students, guardians, parents, teachers, head teachers, supervisors, invigilators, security officers, or anybody or a group of people before, during, or after an examination in order to obtain undeserved marks or grades.
Thank you very much, Desola. You have both spoken well. From all you have said, it is clear that examination malpractice tends to confer undue advantage or undeserved grades to the perpetrators of this act. Again, it is not committed by just the candidates, but also by other bodies charged with examination management. Undoubtedly, examination malpractice has been a social problem for decades, but the rate and manner through which this crime is perpetrated nowadays calls for serious concern. The rate of this crime has been so widespread that there is virtually no examination anywhere and at all levels, including outside the formal school system, that there is no one form of illegal practice or another. Jennifer, please can you tell us how students carry out these malpractices?
Well, the instance of examination malpractice varies from impersonation, leakage of questions, computer fraud, and fraudulent behavior of invigilators and candidates. Firstly, we have collusion among candidates between them and examination officials. Collusion occurs when a candidate copies from one another or examination officials leak out questions to intended candidates prior of the examination time. Secondly, we have impersonation. This is when another person or hired mercenary sits in to write for the genuine candidates. For example, male writing for female or vice versa, or twins writing for each other. Secondly, we have giraffing. This form of examination malpractice gets its name from the African wildlife known as the giraffe, with its long legs, long neck, and small head. Giraffing is the process when a candidate stretches his neck as long as possible to view another candidate's work. Giraffing is one of the commonest and most oldest means of examination malpractice. Fourthly, we have inscription. Inscription is the act of writing examination materials on body or objects such as palm, thighs, chairs, and examination walls. Nursing mother turns their babies to whiteboard and occasionally takes permission from officials to breastfeed their child just only to revise questions and answers. Fifthly, we have irregular activities inside and outside the examination hall. Nowadays, candidates that have made up their mind to cheat exhibit strange behaviors such as smuggling out question papers to touts and agents outside the examination hall, tearing pieces of their question paper and answer booklet to perpetrate malpractice. Sixthly, we have scientific malpractice, the use of mobile phones during examination. Nowadays, candidates employ unauthorized mobile phones and scientific calculators, compact discs, to take undue advantage of it. Mobile phones with camera image functioning are used to take snapshots of a whole textbook in a more reduced format. Candidates can now get information from touts and agents even outside their geographical location. Seventhly, we have bribery. This is the use of money, valuables, or sex to either bargain in the increment of exam scores or the expansion of exam time. Bribery in Nigeria is often called sorting, and in tertiary institution is rampant. Other forms of examination malpractice are mass cheating, leakage of question papers, upright impersonation, computer fraud, and fraudulent behavior of invigilators and candidates.
Thank you, Jennifer.
May I know you, sir?
Okay, I'm Mr. Nathaniel Amotevugie, the school coordinator.
Okay, Mr. Nathaniel. What's the philosophy or vision of your school?
Well, vision is a picture of the future that produces passion. It is known that great leaders are people who have vision, share vision, and inspire others to create their own vision. As a good leader in the education sector, Murphy School is set up to address the potential and educational needs of our host community. It is also part of our vision to prepare learners who can compete favorably with their counterparts anywhere in the world. We also aim at building and sustaining a culture of hard work, diligence, and excellence, to build learners who would play a leadership role in future. In other words, to build a bright and fulfilled future for children.
Good. Okay, what kind of learners or students are you looking for?
Basically, students or learners with varied academic, social, and I would say emotional profiles.
Okay.
Learners who are ambitious, who are motivated, who demonstrate that they are ready to work hard.
Okay. What do you admire about your school?
Well, I would say the product of our students, the kind of students we produce in the end. There are students who can compete favorably with their counterparts all over the world. Then, from the records, they are half-flyers in top-notch universities across Europe and other parts of the world.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Na.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
From all the forms of examination malpractice aforementioned, it is clear that examination malpractice is not limited to the time and place of the examination. In fact, it occurs before, during, and even after the examination. Typical pre-examination malpractice in Nigeria is in the registration of primary 6, BEC, and SSC students for examinations, and a registration of non-school candidates for school examinations by the principals, in spite of clear regulations against such practice. This explains why rural areas with no access roads and difficult terrains witness influx of candidates during these examinations. Such miracle centers are established for pure economic gains and not to impart knowledge into these kids. The introduction of the global system for mobile communication has revolutionized examination malpractice in all tiers of our school system. A lot of information is now stored on these gadgets for direct use in examination halls and for onward transfer via SMS, short message service, to students in other parts of the country. Post-examination malpractice includes unwholesome activities like tracking of answer booklets to the marking stations, writing of phone numbers on answer booklets. Some females even attach nude photographs to their answer booklets, and these photos bear phone numbers for contacts. Sorting and sexual gratification is a form of examination malpractice in tertiary institutions. Continuous assessment scores are even altered by unscrupulous lecturers to give undue advantage or undeserved grades to their cohorts. Intervention by highly placed school officials for their wards or kids to be given a specific grade at all costs is a common case of examination malpractice. Now, the question on everybody's lips is why? Why so much effort in cheating? Desola, please, can you tell us why students get indulged in this practice?
So many reasons have been abused to be causes of the prevalent cases of examination malpractice. Some of these causes are: 1, fear of failure; 2. Craze for certificates. 3. Desire of parents to have their children in choice professions and universities. 4. Pressure on students to pursue courses they have no aptitude. 5. Pressure on teachers who want to gain favor of students on overcrowded sitting arrangements. 6. Poor teaching. 7. Ineffective preparation by students. 8. Ill-equipped library facilities and dubious admission policy. Some also link the causes of examination malpractice to parental upbringing. They opine that because of social status and economic ability, some parents are easily persuaded to bribe their way through for the sole success of their children and self-gratification. The general moral decadence and the high premium placed on educational certificates have in recent times spawned examination fraud. The overdependence on educational certificates as a measure to one's knowledge and competence has led to a marriage by people for educational certificates through unethical means.
Desola, you have said it all. The Nigerian society of today is characterized by a high emphasis on success and wealth without a corresponding emphasis on legitimate means of getting this success. But this is affecting us badly, isn't it, Jesse?
Yes, it is, Kimberly. A country where examination malpractice is predominant, its effects are: 1. Examination malpractice leads to irreversible loss of credibility. A country that is notorious loses international credibility. The implication is that documents or certificates are suspected in the country as Nigeria today. Examination malpractice has grave consequences on learning institutions, families, community, and the nation. The prevalent rates of bank failures, gas explosion, plane crashes, vandalism, taking of ransom, hostage, are practical effects of examination malpractice. Nobody knows what the future holds. An unqualified doctor may be conducting a surgery on you or your friends tomorrow, or an unqualified engineer leading incidents in a site, factories, or building, or even an amateur pilot flying an aircraft. Examination malpractice has other effects like low productivity, poor job performances, and certificate racketeering. Examination malpractice have problems and leading the facets of this nation negatively, socially, emotionally, and technologically. Examination malpractice needs to be prevented through education sector to collaborate and eradicate this malpractice.
Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for your valid contributions. Education is the bedrock of every society. The development of any nation depends solely on the educational quality of its human resources. Examination malpractice is a cancer in the educational sector, and this must be fought standstill by all stakeholders and well-meaning Nigerians. Thank you.
Let's hear more from a student from Moorfield Middle High School. Can we meet you?
My name is Ronawa Fapanela. I'm 12 years old. I'm a year 8 student of Moorfield Middle High School, Ekpan.
Hey, what 3 adjectives best describe you?
Dark, intelligent, and bold.
What can you tell us about Moorfield School?
Moorfield School is a school that offers unparalleled quality education with high global standards. Here, we're also trained on the act of etiquette and speaking rights with good morals.
Is there someone at your school, an administrator, a counselor, a coach, or a teacher whom you feel comfortable talking to about your struggles and challenges in your school that you encounter here?
Oh yes, my teachers are generally friendly and easy to relate with. But here in Moorfield School, we have the counselor, Mrs. Mercy Igara, whom we can always reach out to whenever we have struggles or challenges.
How have you been modeled being in Moorfield Middle High School?
Moorfield School is committed towards hard work and perfection. Moorfield School has taught me to be nice, respectful, independent, polite, and honest in my doings.
What's Moorfield School's stance on examination malpractice?
No form of examination malpractice is done in Moorfield School. Here, we are trained to read to achieve our goals, just like the school motto, today's readers, tomorrow's leaders. Thank you.